Hi. So please forgive the provocatively titled video because I'm not going to answer this question. Um, the reason I'm not going to answer it is one, it doesn't really have an answer, and two, it's because I'm going to give you something that I think is a lot more valuable, actually. And that's not just like an if I do say so myself answer, because um, this is a question that is going to change throughout the course of your whole career. And so, one of the things I'm trying to do here is just answer questions publicly that I think might be useful. These are the questions I get asked. Probably this is the second most asked question after how do I get work as a game composer? It's the second most question, of course, being what should I charge? And the answer, like so many other things, is it depends. It depends on the scope of the project. It depends on how much work it's going to be, meaning how much of your time is it going to take up. But then it also depends on the overall schedule of the project. So, say you are contracted, just for example, to write an hour of music over the next 12 months. So, the first thing, at a certain per minute rate. Now, there's going to be a ton of caveats here. The first caveat being, I don't know if a per minute rate is always the best way to define scope, but it's a starting place. And that's kind of what we use is we use certain things as baseline. So if you're doing a lot of adaptive music with a lot of layers and stuff, it might not be quantifiable how many minutes of music you're writing, but what I like to try to do is think about, all right, if we're going to make a soundtrack of this project, how many minutes are on the soundtrack? And it's a good way to kind of define scope just roughly. And the second question is, how long are you going to be working on it? Is it 60 minutes over the course of a year, or is it 60 minutes over the course of 5 years? Because the latter is a lot more work because you're just going to have more time. You're going to do a lot of iteration. So that's the first thing you should figure out is, does that rate make sense and does the schedule make sense? Everything is negotiable. So you can say, well, you have me for 6 months or 12 months or whatever, and then I've got to move on to the next thing. So that's one place to start. The next main thing you should think about is how much of my total time that I have available in my work week or work year or whatever time frame you want to think about, how much of that does this project take up? Say it takes up half. So say you're writing 60 minutes of music at a certain rate over a year, and that takes up half your time. Your total earning potential then is twice that. So say you are busy 100% of your year and you're charging a certain rate over a certain amount of time. That's your total earning potential for the whole year. Now, like so many other things, like sticking to a budget, eating super healthy, exercising every day, you're probably not going to be at like 100% capacity all the time, but kind of to keep in line with the way that we're talking about this, it's a baseline. It helps you kind of figure it out. So if that makes your earning potential, if it's in line with your earning potential, what the budget for the project and what they're offering you, then you should take it. If it's not, then you either have to decide why you're not taking it. So if you're not taking it because you have a better deal, great. That's a great reason not to take a project. If you're not taking it because you think you might get a better deal and you want to hold the time, that might be a good reason if you're busy enough and if you're in demand and you want to hold out for something that you think is going to be a better deal. If you don't really have that bargaining chip, and that's okay, most composers at the beginning of their careers don't, and I didn't, you should take it. It's better to do a project, get something on your portfolio, build trust, build your career, grow your network, and eventually, every project is an opportunity to potentially increase your rate and increase your earning potential. So, and the way to kind of think about all this holistically is the way it all shakes out or should shake out across the industry is developers should have the budgets that support the earning potential for composers and artists that do good work and have the budget to support hiring the people they want to hire, because they know that if they don't make a good deal, they're going to go somewhere else and get a better deal somewhere else. So it all kind of has a way of shaking out and working itself out. As long as you are pursuing projects that are in line with your earning potential and as long as they can meet, your what you want to charge. So you kind of, it's that reconciliation that happens throughout a negotiation between what their budget is and what your rate is. And the other way to think about it, and I already mentioned, I know I keep saying the other way to think about it because there's like so many moving parts to this kind of stuff. But the other thing you can do is you can negotiate every aspect of a contract. You can negotiate the time frame, the milestones, the scope, the length. You can even potentially negotiate if it's an indie project and you feel like you're really invested as part of the team, and you're showing up to weekly meetings and you feel like you're more than just a composer, like you're on the development team. I think that's a good precedent sometimes for asking for a back-end revenue share. So hopefully that is, I feel like that's become my sign off. Like, hopefully that helps, but hopefully it does. I mean, like it's a reconciliation, it's a negotiation, and it depends on so many things. And all those things are going to change throughout the course of your career. So let me know if this helps. As always, I'll try to respond in the comments. What I'm kind of trying to do here is just take some questions that I get emailed to me and answering them here for a wider audience, because I know that a lot of people out there have the same questions. So I will see you in the comments. Thanks and good luck.